The first day on set, there was a really odd sound every time we went to go into a scene, and they'd stop, they'd say, cut. They'd go, what's going on with that? And the sound would stop, and they'd go, all right, okay, action, and it starts again, and they're going, what is that? And they went, oh, it's Gigi's radio mic, and it's her heart going,
Violence. You'll get the hang of it.
I was born in Perth. My dad's an entrepreneur, and he's bought out Moscow Circus and Torval and Dean, and he just brought Cirque du Soleil into town and the Bolshoi Ballet. So I spent a lot of my years watching technical rehearsals and being on the side of the wing, and I met Marcel Marceau and taught him a few moves. And it's just been a fantastic journey so far. And my mum is a mad, crazed sort of hippie that lives on a hill, and she owns a health retreat, or she did. Now she's just sort of doing her own stuff. And my dad is very focused, down to earth, work your ass off and, get the cash and rah, rah, and don't let anyone do you over. And so I've got pursue your passion and then work your ass off on the other end. So I turned out fine.
You can't understand, Argo.
Understand what? Loss.
My parents split up around when I was 3, and that lasted for about 7 years, and it was an amazing journey. They're best of mates now. They're 2 Sagittarians, born on the same day, different years, and they're my absolute idols and role models, and I still long to make them proud.
But if Moira is no longer able to disturb us, then we are all at risk. Hmm?
Can I say something?
No.
I used to live with my mum, and she used to have people like Deepak Chopra and Louise Hay and Hopi Indians come and talk, and Bashar and Channels and whatever else. So all through my years, I sort of spent most of my years on the farm, running around naked with her and planting seeds and whatever else. And she used to wake me up in the middle of the night with water sticks, those water sticks, and she'd say, Gigi, we found the alien portal. It's here, we found it. And I'm going, Mum, I don't want to look for aliens tonight. I want to sleep, I've got a test tomorrow. No, come on, we're going. Like this. And literally we would go and trek through our property, which is 250 acres at home, and it's right out the base of Mount Tamborine, which is quite a well-known mountain in Queensland. And so then I'd get to school the next day and I'd be like this, and the teacher would go, Gigi, what are you doing? Like this. I'm going, I'm so sorry, I'm so tired. And they're going, why? What have you been doing? And I said, well, last night we went hunting for aliens. Right, go to the counsellor's office. And then, we'd be dancing with the Hopi Indians from dusk till dawn. Gigi, why are you falling asleep? I was dancing with the Hopi Indians. Go to the counsellor. And the teachers would say, look, and parents would ring up and tell the teachers, look, we would prefer that our kids didn't hang out with that Edgeley girl because she thinks aliens are true and she's a little bit... So when I got the Farscape audition, I rang up my mum and I said, Mum, I'm auditioning for an alien. She goes, oh, I got this great feeling, Shish, because you've grown up with aliens all your life. And I'm going, yeah. So I walked into the audition room and I had full-on whacked out hair and glitter and eyebrow piercing, nose piercing, tattoos, God knows what. And there are these 6 beautifully composed girls there, like this. I'm like, hi, my name's Gigi. I'm like, oh, right, here we go. I had my headphones in and walked in, and I said to Andrew Prowse, I said, okay, I know she's like this whacked out alien and she's a bit of a rebel, so, what do you want me to do with movements and stuff like that? And he said, look, I just want to see if you can act. And so we did, and we went through a few different rounds, and then we went through costume fittings and optometry fittings and everything and anything, and Chiana came to fruition, and she, the first makeup test was 5.5 hours long, and I had no idea the extent of the makeup or anything, so once I realised that, I had a full round with movements and stuff like that, and that's how she sort of came about, and that's where all the movements come. If you just do really simple stuff in that makeup, you're blessed with so many amazing things. that you get a lot for free, so less is more a lot of the time.
For any reason the engine's shut down, restore the green knob.
Ignore the green slop.
Restore the green knob. You do that, I'll let you take a transport down to the next planet, okay?
Crichton, that's outrageous.
Green knob.
Good girl. Hang tough, Sparky. Enjoy the personality.
Basically what I do is I sit on set and I wait for her to come and play with me. And I wait for her to ask me to dance, and I hope I keep up with her because she's a complete and utter separate identity to me, and I have to separate us at times because you see yourself for the past 4 years doing these 12 to 16 hour days, and every time you look in the mirror you're looking at this creature. It's like really an intriguing life to sort of live, especially going through it like the age that I am and stuff, and it's completely and utterly blessed. And so every day there were a million times where there were touchstones, you know, and there were a million times where I'd go, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this anymore, this is really intense. And then there were 2 million times where I went, this is great, I love this, I love living on a spaceship, I'm completely like an alien in space. And I work with Henson's, which is phenomenal. I've grown up watching Dark Crystal and Labyrinth, and I'm more fairy tale and more totally and utterly in love with the creatures and the wild things and where they play and the fairies as opposed to the sci-fi aspect. And Farscape has really introduced me into Star Trek and Star Wars, because that was more sort of my sister's generation should always be watching that kind of stuff, and I'd be like, I want to play with the fairies.
Chiana! You did it!
Farscape's almost like a Cirque du Soleil of science fiction. I think it's a phenomenal. It's got so many amazing makeups, and I also think that, not being rude in any way, but I think it's a lot less sterile than a lot of the sci-fis that I've seen. A lot of stuff is people in costumes delivering their lines and whatever else, which makes that subculture, which is great and stuff. And I think Farscape took it sci-fi, if that's what you could call it, into a totally new, whacked out zone, because it really, I don't know what kind of class you put Farscape in, but a damn good one.
Don't I want you to meet a good friend of mine? This is Jessica.
Oh my God. Everybody's finally here.
You're an astronaut too?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, I like astronauts.
You're an astronaut groupie?
Yeah.
That so works for me.
I'm telling my dad, he's like, I sent him a tape. And he said, which one are you anyway? Like this. I said, I'm the little grey one. Oh, the one that speaks too fast? I said, yes. And he said, hey, what's the deal with that? Like, how long does the makeup take? And I said, oh, it takes 3.5 hours, Dad. And he goes, what do they do? Spend 3 hours on your tits and half an hour on your face? And I'm like, thanks, Dad. Because Chiana has all that stuff and I don't.
I really like your body.
You like my body?
It's been very funny. My brother knows a lot more of the lines than what I do, and my brother actually, after he watched a few eps, started running around the house with brooms pretending it was a gun. And when Mum told me, I went to the directors and I said, look, I would appreciate to do as much hands-on stuff without guns and do more hand-to-hand combat than weaponry and whatever else, but in sci-fi it's quite tricky to get away with cruising through scenes without. It's really hard because you get these amazing scenes and you're not trying to make a feature film a day, and you know it says in the scene that Rigel does this and then Crichton does this and Chiana does a backflip and rah, rah, like this, and the makeup department are going, you'll wipe off the makeup, and the props department going, hang on, we don't have that prop, and the other people going, so then it ends up being someone holding someone up going, okay girls, get out of here. You know, so yeah, it was also a really amazing journey, because I'm very sort of method and I do everything and anything I can as intensely and as committed as I possibly can, and to work a 16-hour day as well with that, or 12 to 16-hour day, it becomes a life in itself.
We don't have weapons on our planet. We don't have violence. We don't have war. What the frell?
You get the hang of it.
There's quite a lot of times you'll see Chiana side of set just having a giggle to herself, because you do have to. It's such an intense schedule that, and you will be running on anywhere from sort of 4 hours sleep for the 4 years. So, I giggle, I dance in my trailer, I try and surrender to each and every moment. One thing that I've learned also through Farscape is when you're stuck and you're sort of in a situation where you could be a lot more comfortable, you could be, there's a lot of waiting time as well, is that just surrender to each and every moment and make it worth your while. Simple stuff. And whenever I was in my trailer, everyone would say, why don't you sleep? I'm going, because I can't lie down. Like this. And I get set and I'm completely and utterly energised. I'm hopeless. I walk on set at 4 p.m. going, morning. So I go, hi, Sheesh.
And when they didn't give it back, we beat the grit out of them. Should I be telling you this?
My dear, I've kicked more ass than you've sat on.
You've got a day to shoot and you got a adrenaline load, shall we say, to get through, and as long as you finish the shooting day, which quite often we didn't, would be going into overtime and people would be absolutely exhausted and stuff, but the crew are just phenomenal. We've got some of the best people that have worked on the makeup of Star Wars to the Dark City, to the Matrix, for the crew, the makeup, the costumes, the gaffers, the electrics, everyone was just, and really, like, you'd finish a scene and like a gaffer would come up and go, geez, that was really good. And you're like, really? Cool, man, thanks. And you need those support systems getting through the day, because it gets a bit crazy sometimes. And to work with Claude and Ben and Anne and I couldn't have been in a better place in this time of my life. It's just been phenomenal. And to try and describe it to your friends or your family, or there's just no possible way. You can't. How do you describe how your heart flutters, when they say speed, turning over, action, like this dugunk, and I still, every single take, got completely and utterly nervous, and I'd come out of scenes going, I don't feel good about that scene. I feel like I didn't get it on the head, and quite often, because the makeup's so intense, you only get one take, so before they have to touch up and stuff, and you'll spend quite a lot of time in the makeup chair, so, not as much as on set, but, well, actually it probably almost evens out. So discipline-wise and stuff, it taught me to give it all you got within when you get the chance, because then it could well be your last chance. So working with this crew and this cast was just phenomenal. I can't put it into words.
Facade. Turn around. Drop it. Drop it!
She's brave. She's a lot braver than me, and she'd do a lot of things that I could never do, and sometimes they were good and sometimes they were very not good. And she's taught me a lot. I hope I've picked up more good things than bad things. Chiana!
I can only let go when I feel safe.
You are safe.
Am I?
She stumbled into falling in love, which was a big thing for her. She never really she's completely hunts the spirit, and she's the adventure seeker, and she goes completely opposite what everyone thinks she'll do. And I think the first person that really hit home was falling in love with Dargo, and that sent her to a completely and utterly alien, odd place so far that she deceived her best friend in the world and his son. And I had problems with that. I went up to the writer's office going, oh, guys, I can't do this. Is just, I can't. And they said, no, listen, Cheese, we want Chi, we don't want G, right? So, just go into it full, as committed as you can. So, and another thing that Gigi really enjoyed it, as well as Chiana, was flying. I love to be put on wires and done a lot of trapeze work and work with ropes and fire twirling and stuff like that. So anytime I could do my own stunts or be hooked up on a wire, so as an actor, that was fantastic to do. Also work on a show like Farscape. It's not your every day over the kitchen table, hi, how you going? You can go as crazy as you like, and it's just as far as you want to take it. Hi, and I think we went there a few times. I think we shocked ourselves a few times too.
You better let go. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to buy something else.
You'll lose an arm.
You'll lose worse than an arm.
You wouldn't do that.
Don't tell me what I would or wouldn't do. I do as I please. I'm not your kid. I'm not your sister. And I'm only your trout in your dreams. So please, please, go away.
I'm trying to help.
I don't want it, and I don't need it.
I was actually speaking to my little brother because he's going through a few little hiccups at the moment and changing his he's only 15, but he's been a pro tennis player and he's just decided to give it all up. So I had a good chat to him and he goes, what made you start acting? I'm going, I don't know, it just kind of happened. And I've been really blessed along the way, and it's been a really intense journey, but a really fantastic one. And I found it's been an amazing career just to discover more about yourself, and a lot of the intense and negative things that have happened in my life I use to channel into my work, so they turn into positive and beautiful things. So I love it. I'm completely happy at the moment and surrendering to the moment, and Farscape and my career's taken me almost halfway around the world. So I figure if I can get the whole way around, woohoo!
Hold still.
How's the patient?
She's a brat.
Oh, we should kick her off the boat?
Ask me tomorrow.
I think, honest to goodness, I never stop dressing up and playing make-believe. I don't know what we're doing on this blue-green world, but I figure if I'm working my ass off and I love what I do and I'm teaching and learning along the way, then I'm in the right place.
You saved my life.
Pass it on. When someone else needs it, return the favor. You pass it on.